Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Juji. This is HD by Z, and this is a space for anyone and everyone who's looking for personal development and relationships through the human design lens. I'm so excited you're here because today I'm going to be rounding out my analysis of the royal family with Kate Middleton and Prince William. I wanted to see what was going on with these two. After all, I've done analysis for almost every other member of their family at this point, so I didn't want them to feel left out. So before I get started, I just want to say, these two have had a relatively bump-free relationship. I know that in the beginning, I think they met in college at St. Andrews. I think in the beginning, people were pressuring them. Why aren't you getting engaged? So it took a while. The media in England called Kate Waity Katie for some reason because they felt like she should have been pressuring him more to get married and start a family, but they definitely caught up and have been doing their royal duties as required of them. And I wanted to see what was keeping these two in love, what seemed to be the catalyst and the drive behind their connection. And what I found was pretty interesting. It always is. Let's take a look. So of course we have to start with the royalty. Here's Prince William. He's a manifesting generator. He's emotional authority, single definition, 2-5 profile on the right angle cross of the vessel of love. Where have we seen this vessel of love cross before? Oh yes, Wallis Simpson. So, they weren't blood related, but obviously she played a big role in his life, and here we are. So first thing I want to point out is not only is this man an emotional authority, which means it takes him a long time to make a decision, but he's also single definition. What it means to be single definition is when every single one of the centers in your chart is somehow connected through a channel. And what that really means is that connecting is not a primary dilemma for them. They feel whole within themselves. That's a very specific kind of security. Not only that, but look at this hooked up spleen. He is very secure within himself. There's potentially no hole that he's trying to fill in his life. And so when it comes to partnership, for him, it's really all about what it feels like. People with emotional authority are here to go by how they feel and not what they think. And with this channel of emoting, it's all about waiting for the right timing, because this is a very moody channel. And until he was in the mood to be wed, there was no forcing that river. So let's talk about Kate. Alrighty, here we go. She's a generator. Good. Type for type. She's sacral authority. Could be a challenge. Split definition. Very different from single. Profile 5-1, and she is on the left angle cross of cycles. So first things first about Miss Kate Middleton. We say that when somebody has an open center, that is a dilemma. And there is an order to the dilemmas that we face. So there is an impact ranking, and the top 3 open centers that cause major dilemmas in people's lives is the ego, the solar plexus, and the G center, in that order. And Ra used to call having an open ego, solar plexus, and G center the heartbreak hotel. These are very, very serious dilemmas that people face, not because it actually means anything about them. When you're open somewhere, that's not you. That's where you're filtering the world. That's where you're taking information in from the outside. This is where your primary conditioning happens, and the mind is filtering all of your openness. The way the mind tries to filter this open ego is it wants to prove its worthiness. The way the mind tries to filter the open solar plexus is by avoiding confrontation and truth. And the mind tries to compensate for having this open G center by creating an identity for yourself around something. And in this case, Prince William is defined. And so Kate has an identity or a direction that she has taken on. She's taken on the role of the Princess of Wales. What could be more glamorous than that? And maybe she identifies with it, maybe she doesn't, but it has become who she is now. All right, let's take a look at them together. Okay, so together they have a pretty defined chart. The only thing open is the head center, which does mean that they continue to have an open mind when it comes to how they do things. This can be very healthy for people, being open to inspiration, being open to new ideas. There will always be something to talk about in the relationship, especially with this 1156 channel. So one center open, the 8 rest of them defined. 8 and 1 have some fun. These two can have fun in their relationship and potentially not take it too seriously. And together they are single definitions. So he does bridge her split, and they have 4 electromagnetic connections together. Let's take a look at them. First and foremost, we have the 952. This is the channel of focus and concentration. So together they're here to focus and concentrate on something that they both enjoy and respond to. Next, we have the channel of struggle, which is about struggling to make their own way as far as what it means to be in a royal relationship together. I think it's pretty revolutionary how much they seem to care and love for each other. That's pretty cool. Then they have the channel of discovery together, which is very much about a love of life, just having this zest for new experiences, something that they can share together, which is great because they're basically connected at the hip at this point. They're raising 3 children. I mean, I don't know if raising is the correct, they're overseeing the raising of 3 children together. They also have the 4426, which is this channel from the spleen to the ego, which they don't independently have. So they do have willpower as a connection, but not as a consistent way of being when they're out of each other's auras. And this is the channel of surrender, which is all about being a transmitter. Together they transmit this beautiful picture of what it means to be in this marriage together. So what could there possibly be to say about these two? One of the things that first struck me is Prince William's profile, the 2-5. This is pretty rare, so I thought I'd explore it a little bit further. I don't think I've looked at any charts that have a 2-5 profile yet. And this is interesting because there is a double projection field on this profile. So the 2 gets projected on as the natural, as the genius, and the 5 gets projected on as the hero and the savior. And you can see that Kate is a 5-1, so she gets projected on as the hero and the savior as well. The world is projecting onto them that they are this perfect, well-matched, beautiful couple. They still look at each other lovingly. They still seem to have a physical connection. They're consistently photographed holding hands together. So this might be a camaraderie that they have together. This might be something that they are consistently experiencing and therefore can support each other in. And speaking of supporting each other, the fact that Kate didn't seem to push too hard, I mean, we don't know what happened behind closed doors, but seemingly she was patient. She was willing to wait out the wave as long as it took, because she knew that if she tried to force that issue, it was going to probably end up being a disaster. That's what we're here to recognize, is that when somebody has emotional authority, they cannot be rushed. That creates a lot of friction. It creates a lot of discomfort. It can even create a lot of distance between two people when somebody isn't feeling seen or heard, that they're not ready yet. And when somebody has the emotional authority between two people, they become the authority in the relationship. Prince William is not the authority because he's the royal. He's not the authority because he's the male figure in the relationship. He is the emotional barometer for the two of them. She needs to be able to be patient with his wave, because once he is clear as a manifesting generator, he will get it done. I don't remember how long their engagement was, but potentially once he was finally able to pull the trigger, it went off without a hitch very quickly. And she potentially looks up to him with this 2-5 profile, with all of this projection on him. And he potentially loves the projection that he's getting from her, with her adoring eyes and her smile and her willing to participate in all of these royal activities. There's no brouhaha in her case. She seems to be fitting in with the royals just fine. So I really believe that these two can make it work. There are a lot of compromise channels between these two, but nothing that I can really point to and say, ooh, that might be challenging, or nothing that I can say, oh, that's going to really dominate the relationship in some way. They seem to have found a good compromise between the two of them. Neither one is really trying to upset the royal order. And so I feel that when it's time, they're going to be great monarchs. It's going to be a very easy transition. All right, guys, that was a lot to cover, but I feel like I said everything I wanted to. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments or submit a request for another couple you'd like for me to do an analysis on. I'll do my best. I have a long list waiting for me, so I'm just trying to get through it. If you want to have a chat with me, you can also find me on Instagram, DM me there. I would love to hear from you. I'll also drop my website in the show notes so you can see all of the ways that we can work together. Until next time, ciao for now.